welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how I got my first hotel collaboration with only 1,000 followers. And I'm not going to only go through my story and what worked for me, but the 5-step process that you can also use to land your first or next hotel collaboration. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Amanda. I am a part-time travel content creator and photographer and part-time retail girly to pay the bills while I build my dream life. So like I said, I got my first hotel collaboration when I only had 1,200 followers, and I just want to note that this wasn't a fluke, a once in a blue moon type of thing. As a small creator, you can absolutely work with hotels, with brands, with tourism boards. You just need to know the steps that you need to take to set yourself apart from the rest. So this video is going to take you through the 5-step process that you can follow to get your first hotel collaboration. This is also the step process that I took to land my first one. 5-step process you're going to want to follow is prepare, pitch, follow up, negotiate, sign. That's 5, but we have a bonus one, create and collaborate, that I'm going to be sharing at the end. So first things first, let's get through the actual facts of my first collaboration. My hotel collaboration was in Quebec City. It was with the Auberge Place d'Armes. It's a boutique hotel. It's super cute, and it was honestly a dream. So it's important to note that when you're dealing with hotels, you can get a comp stay. Sometimes if you're a big enough creator or you have additional services that you can offer, you can be paid. Or sometimes you can just get a media discount or a PR discount. In this case for me, I did get a PR discount, which was significant. I was charged $89 per night for 2 nights, as opposed to $300 a night. So quick math, that's about $422 in savings. And the deliverables requested were 2 static posts, and I believe 6 stories, so 3 per day while I was there. The follower count that I had, that seemed more than fair, since what I would have charged for that would have been about $150 to $175. Right. So step number 1 is, of course, prepare. If you know me, you know how much I love to plan, so this step is actually a lot of fun for me. Let me take you through what this means. One of the most important things that you're going to want to do before you even start pitching or researching hotels is make sure that you know your audience. What's their budget like? What kind of accommodations do they usually like to stay in? Do they have any bucket list places that you can go to? That way, when you present that content to your audience, you know that it's going to resonate with them. Let me give you an example. So for me, I'm a budget travel girly through and through, so I knew that I was going to need to look for accommodations that are in lower to mid-range maximum, so that my following would actually be interested. So for example, if you are a sustainability blogger, you're going to want to partner with hotels that are going to be dedicated to sustainability. If you're a luxury travel gal, then you're going to want to partner with resorts or more high-end hotels. I think you can see where I'm going with this. And don't be afraid to ask your audience as well. Put up a poll on your stories and ask them what their budget usually is, what kind of accommodations that they usually love to stay in, whether it's hotels, hostels, Airbnbs, because you can partner with Airbnbs as well. Those kinds of details are going to be really important to the overall success of your collaboration. So now we're getting into the actual work part of this process. So in order to prepare to start pitching to hotels, there's a couple of things that you're going to need to do. Number 1, research the hotels. Read the reviews. Make sure that this is a reputable place that you're actually going to enjoy staying and that you would feel comfortable recommending to your audience. So once you've found a bunch of hotels, I would recommend making a list of about 10 of them, 5 to 10 depending on the destination. If it's really small, then there's less accommodation. If it's a more popular place, list 10 to 20 if you can without burning yourself out. So make sure that you have a list of several hotels. The last thing you're going to want to do before you actually start drafting your pitch is to make note of what it is about that hotel that you love. Go through the hotel, go through the photos and the reviews. Maybe it's the historical architecture. Maybe it's the funky indoor decor. Maybe it's their dedication to sustainability. Whatever it is, mark that down because you're going to be including that in your pitch. So step number 2, pitching. This can be really, really daunting, and I can tell you it does get easier. The more that you do it, the more you get in tune with your workflow and negotiations and things like that. So if you're in this for the long haul, I promise you it does get easier. Before you even start drafting your pitches, there's one really important thing that you're going to need to do. If you have the time before your trip, which you should be reaching out usually a couple months in advance, try your best to create a relationship with this accommodation. Whether it's a hotel, a hostel, Airbnb, whatever it is, if they have an online presence, get into their DMs, comment on their posts, like their posts, engage with them so that when they see your name come up in an email, they'll be able to recognize it and be like, hey, I remember this person. That's one of the ways that you can get yourself to stand out as opposed to just cold pitching a bunch of hotels. So I actually created a little ebook for you guys in the description that has a whole bunch of scripts that you can use to start pitching to hotels. Your initial pitches, your follow-ups, if you reach out by DMs on Instagram or on TikTok, and a couple of negotiation scripts as well. The basic structure of your pitch is going to be introduction to you, who you are, your travel plans, and why you're reaching out to the hotel, which is basically just saying, I'm traveling to X place on X date. I'm going to really love to collaborate with the hotel when I'm there. And then your next section is going to be why it is that you love the hotel and why you think it's going to be a good fit for your audience. You have to remember that while, yes, it's fun to get like comped stays and get paid for these kinds of things, it is work and you do hold a lot of responsibility on your side as the creator to make sure that you're showing the hotel in a good light to an audience that's going to be receptive. You need to make sure that your audience and their audience match up. I don't know why I keep doing this. Next section that you're going to want to put is what it is that you can offer. You can just keep it basic and say social media posts or blog posts or YouTube video, or if you're a photographer by trade, you can offer images as well. You need to be framing this pitch as a what I can do as a creator for this hotel and why they would want to work with me. So if it's a busy season for that destination and that hotel, it might be really difficult for them to justify paying you or giving you a free room where they would be making money from a guest instead. So just keep that in mind. Don't get discouraged. Just keep on pitching. Step number 3, this one's a short one, but it's super, super important, and it's where a lot of creators get discouraged. So you're gonna want to follow up. Hotels are busy, okay? They don't always have somebody that's on the emails 24/7 or that's checking their social media 24/7. It's important to follow up to continue to express your interest and get them to take notice because they might miss your first, second, third, or fourth follow-up. So follow up at least 5 times and don't worry about being annoying. You're shooting your shot. I personally have had brands reach out to me after my 4th follow-up saying, thank you for following up. We missed your previous emails. So follow up. Number 4, and this one is a doozy. This is where we're talking about negotiating. It's completely normal to have a little bit of a back and forth, whether it's a hotel, a brand, a tourism board, whatever it is, to make sure that you're finding common ground and creating a mutually beneficial collaboration. Actually hear back from the hotel and they give you a yes, we're interested. This is when you need to start calculating. Let me give you a scenario. Scenario number 1. So let's say they're interested and they're willing to offer you a complimentary stay, and they mention a couple of deliverables that doesn't seem too out of left field for you. So a good rule of thumb is to calculate what the actual value of that stay would cost you if you weren't collaborating with this hotel. We'll take my case for example. So the suite that they put us up in was a $300 suite per night, so about $600 total. The deliverables that they were asking for were 2 posts and 6 stories. So as a smaller creator, obviously my rates are going to be a little bit lower typically than larger creators. So I basically calculated what my posts would be worth and what my stories would be worth, what I would charge for them, and then compared it to the actual value of the hotel. In this case, I was getting a discounted rate, so it saved me about $400. And what I would have charged for those posts and those deliverables would have been, like I said, about $150 to $175. For me, that was well worth it. If you're not sure how to calculate your rates, let me know in the comments below. I might create an entire video on this because it's a little bit information heavy and I feel like it deserves its own video. So let me know. If you experience scenario number 1, best case scenario, everything seems fair, there's not really a ton of negotiating that you need to be doing. Now, scenario 2, and this is something that's a little tricky and happens more often than scenario 1. I'm not gonna lie, but that is why negotiations are so important. So let's say that they say, yes, we would like to work with you. That sounds great. Here are the deliverables that we're requesting. If it's a lot, you need to be able to counter. So you're going to use the same logic of calculation as in scenario 1, where you can say, okay, this value doesn't exactly equate to the deliverables that they're requesting. So if this is something that you can experience, you can do one of two things. Option 1, fairly simple. You can counter and say, hey, for this stay, I would be able to provide X, Y, and Z. What do you think of that? Option 2, if you're willing to provide those deliverables, you can either ask for an extra night, you can ask for like a restaurant voucher to balance it out, or you can straight up ask to be paid, depending on what they're asking of you. Don't worry, I've added a couple of negotiation scripts in the ebook that you can get in the description, so make sure you grab that before you start pitching. This is the part of the collaboration where things start to get official. Collaboration that you do, whether it's paid or gifted or anything like that, you're going to want to have some semblance of a contract as part of your collaboration. Even if there's no money that's changing hand, you want to make sure that the deliverables are described properly and everything is good to go before you start creating your content. Most of the time, you'll have a brand, or hotel, or tourism board actually send you a contract to be signed. In the rare case that you need to create your own, there are some templates that you can find online that are really helpful. If you get sent a contract from a hotel, you're going to want to go through it and make sure that what's actually described in the contract is what you agreed to. So that is the 5-step process that you're going to want to follow to get your first or next hotel collaboration. However, I do have a bonus tip. Step number 6, create and collaborate. Here are a couple of tips that you can use when you're actually on your trip and you need to be getting content for a hotel. Tip number 1, make sure that you set aside the best lighting of the day for shooting. So whether you're shooting around the hotel or within the hotel room, you want to make sure that you have good lighting. So like sunrise and sunset is going to give you really, really beautiful photos and effects. And you want to make sure that you have enough light in the hotel to really showcase it to the best of your ability. Make sure that you're setting aside specific time during your stay to create enough content for the hotel. You can create some extra content that you can either post on your socials afterwards, or you create extra content to pitch to them and see if they want to buy it afterwards. Just make sure that you're setting yourself up for success and giving yourself enough time to create the content while you're there. So another thing that's really important when working with, whether it's hotels, brands, tourism boards, what have you, is to be easy to work with. Be reachable, respond to emails or calls or whatever it is within 24 hours, deliver on time, and if you can't deliver on time, make sure that you keep them up to date with what's going on and when to expect that content. And my last tip, and you don't need to do this, but it's something that I like to do, is to over deliver. You can add like an extra story slide or two. That's something that's really easy to do, and share your post a couple of times to your stories. So the last thing that you can do for a hotel, and this can go for brands or tourism boards or whatever it is, whenever you're posting content on your channels, is to send them probably like 2 weeks later a KPI, which is a key performance indicator. Basically just a set of like screenshots and stats for how those posts performed. It includes like comments that you got on your post, if you got any DMs about the hotel, if you posted maybe a link to your stories and you notice that it got a couple of clicks, send that to them. It really shows that you are professional and that you really loved working with them, and those kind of stats really help the hotel or brand to develop a marketing strategy going forward that you can do. You can create it on Canva for free and just send that over to them afterwards, and they'll really appreciate it. And there you have it, the 5/6 step process to landing your first hotel collaboration. These are the steps that I followed to land my first one with only 1.2K followers. You can absolutely do this as a small creator. Don't sell yourself short. You are a badass. You can do this. You can live your dream. You just need to believe in yourself, and you need to have the right tools. Don't forget, I've included a little ebook for you guys in the description. Make sure you grab that so you can have all of your scripts ready to go. And if you found this helpful, make sure you give this a like and subscribe for more so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I will see you guys next time.